It's 4 in the morning, inside the greenhouse. A valve turns on its own. The sprinklers come alive in the west section. A blind opens halfway. The temperature climbs by exactly half a degree. Nobody pressed a button. Nobody programmed anything tonight. And yet, the greenhouse just made 3 decisions. This isn't a smart greenhouse. This is a system you've already seen in earlier episodes, without realizing you were seeing it. In one episode, the rules of a network weren't imposed from above. They emerged from what every participant shared. In another, a language where you don't tell a computer what to do. You tell it what must be true. Put those two together and something strange happens. The network stops needing instructions. Picture each gardener with a notebook, and in that notebook they write, with absolute precision, what their plants need. Temperature must always stay between 64 and 75 degrees. Humidity must never drop below 60%. Direct sunlight at least 6 hours a day. These aren't vague wishes. They're conditions written in a language a machine can read, interpret, and verify. In TauNet, that notebook has a name: worldview. Your view of the world, written in logic. It's what you, as a participant, hold to be true on the network. Your conditions, your limits. What for you is non-negotiable. 1,000 people, 1,000 notebooks, 1,000 different views of the world. The question is what the system does with all of them. The system doesn't vote on which notebook is best. It doesn't pick a representative. It doesn't take a majority. It does something no human could do in time. It overlays the 1,000 notebooks and computes the logical intersection. If one person's notebook says temperature between 68 and 73 or humidity high, and another's says 6 hours of sunlight or daily watering, the consensus isn't either opinion on its own. The consensus is what satisfies both at once. The formula the greenhouse writes is A or B and C or D, 4 conditions, organized mathematically so they can coexist. That's not a majority winning. It's a logical agreement everyone reaches at the same time. No vote, no losers. And those conditions, the ones that survive the intersection of 1,000 opinions, become the living rules of the network. But nothing in a garden stands still. Seasons change, new plants arrive. A gardener notices their tomatoes need more shade and rewrites their notebook. When someone updates, the system doesn't call a meeting. It collects the new conditions, merges them with the old ones, and recalculates the intersection, block by block. No crises, and there are rules no notebook can touch. Global constraints, things the network has decided, by intersection, that will never be allowed. For example, that the system must never send private data outside. That sentence, translated into logic, becomes a mathematical wall, not a guideline, something the system simply cannot do. The challenge here isn't convincing anyone. The logic works. The challenge sits inside the mechanism itself. If the 1,000 notebooks ask for things too far apart, if one gardener wants desert and another wants jungle, the logical intersection can land at exactly 0. No compatible rule, no agreement possible. The system is honest about that. It doesn't invent a consensus that isn't there. But then the network falls silent. The more freedom you give each person to express their own view, the easier it becomes for the whole group to find nothing in common. That's not a cultural problem, it's a mathematical trade-off. The greenhouse doesn't decide because it's conscious. It decides because 1,000 people gave it their notebooks. And logic did the rest. No developers writing the rules, no leaders setting the direction. No votes where the majority wins and the minority loses. 1,000 opinions, one intersection, and a system that updates itself. It's not utopia, it's logic. And from that agreement, code is born that runs itself.